Welcome to day 63 of our Bible reading plan. The passages we're reading today include Exodus chapter 33, Job chapter 25, Job chapter 26, Job chapter 27, Mark chapter 4, verse 26 to verse 41, 1 Corinthians chapter 10, verse 23 to verse 33, 1 Corinthians chapter 11, verse 1, and Psalms chapter 63. We're reading from the Berean Standard Bible. Exodus 33. Then the Lord said to Moses, "Leave this place, you and the people you brought up out of the land of Egypt, and go to the land that I promised to Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob when I said, I will give it to your descendants. And I will send an angel before you, and I will drive out the Canaanites, Amorites, Hittites, Perizzites, Hivites, and Jebusites. Go up to a land flowing with milk and honey, but I will not go with you, because you are a stiff-necked people. Otherwise, I might destroy you on the way." When the people heard these bad tidings, they went into mourning, and no one put on any of his jewelry. For the Lord had said to Moses, "Tell the Israelites, you are a stiff-necked people. If I should go with you for a single moment, I would destroy you. Now take off your jewelry, and I will decide what to do with you." So the Israelites stripped themselves of their jewelry from Mount Horeb onward. Now Moses used to take the tent and pitch it at a distance outside the camp. He called it the tent of meeting, and anyone inquiring of the Lord would go to the tent of meeting outside the camp. Then, whenever Moses went out to the tent, all the people would stand at the entrances to their own tents and watch Moses until he entered the tent. As Moses entered the tent, the pillar of cloud would come down and remain at the entrance, and the Lord would speak with Moses. When all the people saw the pillar of cloud standing at the entrance to the tent, they would stand up and worship, each one at the entrance to his own tent. Thus, the Lord would speak to Moses face to face, as a man speaks to his friend. Then Moses would return to the camp, but his young assistant, Joshua, son of Nun, would not leave the tent. Then Moses said to the Lord, "Look, you have been telling me, lead these people up, but you have not let me know whom you will send with me. Yet you have said, I know you by name, and you have found favor in my sight. Now, if indeed I have found favor in your sight, please let me know your ways, that I may know you and find favor in your sight. Remember that this nation is your people." And the Lord answered, "My presence will go with you, and I will give you rest." "If your presence does not go with us," Moses replied, "do not lead us up from here. For how then can it be known that your people and I have found favor in your sight, unless you go up with us? How else will we be distinguished from all the other people on the face of the earth?" So the Lord said to Moses, "I will do this very thing you have asked, for you have found favor in my sight, and I know you by name." Then Moses said, "Please show me your glory." "I will cause all my goodness to pass before you," the Lord replied, "and I will proclaim my name, the Lord, in your presence. I will have mercy on whom I have mercy, and I will have compassion on whom I have compassion." But he added, "You cannot see my face, for no one can see me and live." The Lord continued, "There is a place near me where you are to stand upon a rock, and when my glory passes by, I will put you in a cleft of the rock and cover you with my hand until I have passed by. Then I will take my hand away, and you will see my back, but my face must not be seen." Now we read Job chapter 25. Then Bildad the Shuhite replied, "Dominion and all belong to God. He establishes harmony in the heights of heaven. Can his troops be numbered? On whom does his light not rise? How then can a man be just before God? How can one born of woman be pure? if even the moon does not shine and the stars are not pure in his sight, how much less man, who is but a maggot, and the Son of Man, who is but a worm? Job 26. Then Job answered, how you have helped the powerless and saved the arm that is feeble, how you have cancelled the unwise and provided fully sound insight. To whom have you uttered these words, and whose spirit spoke through you? The deep tremble, those beneath the waters and those who dwell in them. Sheol is naked before God, and Abaddon has no covering. He stretches out the north over empty space. He hangs the earth upon nothing. He wraps up the waters in his clouds, yet the clouds do not burst under their own weight. He covers the face of the full moon, spreading over it his cloud. He has inscribed a horizon on the face of the waters. At the boundary between light and darkness, the foundations of heaven quake, astounded at his rebuke. By his power he stirred the sea, by his understanding he shattered Rahab, by his breath the skies were cleared, his hand pierced the fleeing serpent. Indeed, these are but the fringes of his ways. How faint is the whisper we hear of him. Who then can understand the thunder of his power? Job chapter 27. Job continues his discourse. As surely as God lives, who has deprived me of justice, the Almighty, who has embittered my soul, as long as my breath is still within me, and the breath of God remains in my nostrils, my lips will not speak wickedness, and my tongue will not utter deceit. I will never say that you are right. I will maintain my integrity until I die. I will cling to my righteousness and never let go. As long as I live, my conscience will not accuse me. May my enemy be like the wicked, and my opponent like the unjust. For what is the hope of the godless when he is cut off, when God takes away his life? Will God hear his cry when distress comes upon him? Will he delight in the Almighty? Will he call upon God at all times? I will instruct you in the power of God. I will not conceal the ways of the Almighty. Surely all of you have seen it for yourselves. Why then do you keep up this empty talk? This is the wicked man's portion from God, the heritage the ruthless receive from the Almighty. Though his sons are many, they are destined for the sword, and his offspring will never have enough food. His survivors will be buried by the plague, and their widows will not weep for them. Though he heaps up silver like dust and piles up a wardrobe like clay, what he lays up, the righteous will wear, and his silver will be divided by the innocent. The house he built is like a moth's cocoon, like a hut set up by a watchman. He lies down wealthy, but will do so no more. When he opens his eyes, all is gone. Terrors overtake him like a flood. A tempest sweeps him away in the night. The east wind carries him away, and he is gone. It sweeps him out of his place. It hurls itself against him without mercy as he flees headlong from its power. It claps its hands at him and eases him out of his place. Now we're going to read Mark chapter 4, verse 26 to verse 41. Jesus also said, the kingdom of God is like a man who scatters seed on the ground. Night and day he sleeps and wakes, and the seed sprouts and grows, though he knows not how. All by itself, the earth produces a crop, first the stalk, then the head, then grain that ripens within. And as soon as the grain is ripe, he swings the sickle because the harvest has come. Then he asked, to what can we compare the kingdom of God? With what parable shall we present it? It is like a mustard seed, which is the smallest of all seeds sown upon the earth. But after it is planted, It grows to be the largest of all garden plants and puts forth great branches, so that the birds of the air nest in its shade. With many such parables, Jesus spoke the word to them to the extent that they could understand. He did not tell them anything without using a parable, but privately he explained everything to his own disciples. When that evening came, he said to his disciples, "Let us cross to the other side." After they had dismissed the crowd, they took Jesus with them, since he was already in the boat, and there were other boats with him. Soon a violent windstorm came up, and the waves were breaking over the boat so that it was being swamped. But Jesus was in the stern, sleeping on the cushion. So they woke him and said, "Teacher, don't you care that we are perishing?" Then Jesus got up and rebuked the wind and the sea. "Silence," he commanded. "Be still." And the wind died down, and it was perfectly calm. "Why are you so afraid?" he asked. "Do you still have no faith?" Overwhelmed with fear, they asked one another, "Who is this that even the wind and the sea obey him?" Now, our next reading is 1 Corinthians chapter 10, verse 23 to verse 33. Everything is permissible, but not everything is beneficial. Everything is permissible, but not everything is edifying. No one should seek his own good, but the good of others. Eat anything sold in the meat market without raising questions of conscience. For the earth is the Lord's and the fullness thereof. If an unbeliever invites you to a meal and you want to go, eat anything set before you without raising questions of conscience. But if someone tells you, "This food was offered to idols," then do not eat it, for the sake of the one who told you and for the sake of conscience. The other one's conscience, I mean, not your own. For why should my freedom be determined by someone else's conscience? If I partake in the meal with thankfulness, why am I denounced because of that for which I give thanks? So whether you eat or drink or whatever you do, do it all to the glory of God. Do not become a stumbling block, whether to Jews or Greeks or the church of God, as I also try to please everyone in all I do. For I am not seeking my own good, but the good of many, that they may be saved. Our next reading is 1 Corinthians chapter 11, verse 1. You are to imitate me, just as I imitate Christ. Now we're going to read Psalms chapter 63, which is the last reading for today. O God, you are my God. Earnestly I seek you. My soul thirsts for you. My body yearns for you in a dry and weary land without water. So I have seen you in the sanctuary and beheld your power and glory. Because your loving devotion is better than life, my lips will glorify you. So I will bless you as long as I live. In your name I will lift my hands. My soul is satisfied as with the richest of foods. With joyful lips, my mouth will praise you. When I remember you on my bed, I think of you through the watches of the night. For you are my help. I will sing for joy in the shadow of your wings. My soul clings to you. Your right hand upholds me. But those who seek my life to destroy it will go into the depths of the earth. They will fall to the power of the sword. They will become a portion for foxes. But the king will rejoice in God. All who swear by him will exult, for the mouths of liars will be shut. May the Lord bless the reading and hearing of his word.